Could Moises Caicedo be on his way to Arsenal? Yes, people, wife boy, and the season is barely finished, but the Arsenal transfer rumours have already begun, and we've hit with another bombshell. This time it regards Moises Caicedo. Fabrizio Romano again has tweeted, Brighton manager Roberto De Zerbi told Moises Caicedo in January to stay at the club until June despite huge bids, and then promised to sell him in the summer in case of a good proposal. Pact will be respected. Chelsea is still keen on Caicedo, but it's a free clubs race. This is really interesting actually, because I remember covering the whole Caicedo story in January on this channel, and I said how it came out of nowhere that Arsenal bid 60 million and then for a second bid 70 million, but Brighton didn't accept it, and I was confused. I was like, why are Brighton not accepting this? And I actually brought up the potential that Brighton are going to accept it, but in the summer. They don't want to sell him in January because they wouldn't have time to replace him, given that Arsenal bidded so late at the end of the January transfer window, and they want to keep Caicedo to try and get European football. And it worked a dream for them, right? They renewed Caicedo like any big club would do. They would renew their assets so they get more money for them in the summer. And they used him in January and were able to secure European football, and then did the professional thing and said, Caicedo, we're going to allow you to walk to go to a bigger club if you want to. Now, Caicedo's mentioned Chelsea there, and I'm sure Arsenal will also be interested. Arsenal, the main team that bidded for Caicedo in the January alongside Chelsea, and we know a number 6 is a key part of Arteta's plans. He also has seen Partey play at that right back role for Arsenal recently. Now we know Caicedo can play that role for Brighton. He's done it under Roberto De Zerbi, especially in these recent weeks with Brighton's main right back being out. So Caicedo could slot in perfectly for Arsenal. And look, I've already spoken at length about how Brighton's system under De Zerbi is so good because of the football style they play, that any club, Man City, Arsenal, Liverpool, would love to sign players from Brighton because the adaptation period won't necessarily be there because they're used to playing that forward-thinking, positive possession style football. Caicedo honestly would be one of the perfect signings for Arsenal. Him alongside Declan Rice are my two dream signings this summer, and it's good to see Arsenal get in early. Now, Fabrizio Romano also produced a YouTube video, and he said that he's 100% sure Alexis Mac Allister will leave the club, and it looks like Liverpool are going to sign him. And he also said he's 90% sure Moises Caicedo will leave Brighton. 90% is a high figure, especially for Fabrizio Romano, who normally keeps his cards quite close to his chest. So the fact he's come out and said that he expects Caicedo to leave, a 90% chance, makes me think there's an option that Arsenal could have there. Now, we know personal terms are agreed with Arsenal. It was agreed from January. When clubs make a move for a player, right, they don't just come out and bid 70 million for the player. They talk to the player first, they talk to the club first, but primarily they talk to the player. They get to know what the player's like, they get to know whether he's a right fit at the football club, whether he's got the right mentality, the right attitude to play at that club. So Arteta already would have reached out to Moises Caicedo's agents and the player himself, and like the look of Caicedo, would have agreed the contract in that sense, and then gone, okay, Caicedo to Arsenal looks like it will work. Let's now contact Brighton and get a deal over the line. Obviously, that didn't materialise, but it's good signs in that respect because it means that Caicedo probably accepts the Arsenal proposal and would want to come to the football club. It's just about the clubs ironing over a deal. Now it's got to the summer transfer window. Brighton have secured Europa League football. They've got the time in the window to replace Caicedo with Dahoud, for example, has been talked about, Milner, João Pedro. So we know Brighton are already active in the summer transfer window. We expect them to sign some more players, especially with European football and that budget under their belt. So that gives the way for Arsenal to try and move in and get Moises Caicedo. For me, this is a deal that Arsenal have to move quickly in. I'm a massive admirer of Moises Caicedo. The fact he can play the number 6 position, play the right back position. He's proven in the Premier League. Absolutely brilliant. I love his tenacious attitude. He's competitive in that midfield as well. Aggressive. Every sort of attribute that Arsenal want to see in that midfield. And he's a perfect replacement for Thomas Partey, who, let's be honest, has been brilliant this season. But A, he's got his injury issues. B, Thomas Partey tailed off towards the end of the season. And he's above 30 years old in age. Of course, he's got the court case that is always going to surround him in his future at Arsenal. So I think it's better if Arsenal move on early rather than later. You want to improve while you still can. You don't want to leave it till too late and Partey starts to really decrease in form. Jorginho, of course, is getting on in age as well. And suddenly we're stuck with half the season without a CDM to play with. So make a move early on Caicedo. Other clubs are already sniffing about for his signature. But if Arsenal make the move early, I don't see why he wouldn't come to Arsenal. We're the most attractive proposition. We're a more attractive proposition than Chelsea right now. That's for a fact. Chelsea haven't got any European football. Chelsea's got so many midfielders anyway. They've got Kante, Enzo Fernandez, Kovacic, just to name a few. Liverpool, of course, it could be another option for them, but they're already going for Alexis Mac Allister. There's other players around as well that they could be going for. We know someone, the Sporting Lisbon player, Ugarte, I think it's pronounced. He's been scouted around by Liverpool, Chelsea as well as another potential CDM option. João Paulinho, Matheus Nunes as well is on Liverpool's radar. So it paves the way for Arsenal. In terms of players, clubs abroad, I'm not hearing much. I really thought other clubs would be looking at Moises Caicedo, but it only really seems to be in the Premier League. If I go back to Fabrizio Romano's tweet, right, he said it's a free clubs race. Now, Chelsea's one, Arsenal, I'm guessing, is the other one. So who's the third club? Is it Manchester United? Potentially looking as a replacement for Casemiro in case he starts to get on in age and starts to decrease in performances. Is Liverpool the third club? I'm not too sure. But between Arsenal and Chelsea, I mean, I've been wrong before. I was wrong on the Mudryk deal, saying that I believe Mudryk was going to come to Arsenal. Obviously, I didn't anticipate Chelsea to blow out the budget with 100 million. At the time, I thought Mudryk to Arsenal was basically guaranteed with the money Arsenal were willing to spend. Now, I don't expect Chelsea to go as aggressive this summer transfer window. I think they will learn their lesson, because last January in the summer before, they were way too aggressive. They were spending money like it was limitless, like they had infinite cash. I expect them to be a bit more tentative with the window this summer. They will still spend money, I have no doubt about it whatsoever, but I don't expect them to spend boatloads of money like they did in January and summer. So between Chelsea and Arsenal, as long as the fee is similar, as long as the wages are similar, I don't see why Moises Caicedo won't come to Arsenal over Chelsea. We're the more attractive proposition. We're a bigger football club, and we're moving in the right direction. It's a step up from Brighton, who've got Europa League football, to now come to Arsenal, who's got Champions League football. So for me, get this one over the line, man. Roberto De Zerbi's come out and he said he expects Caicedo to leave. He's come out and said that he expects Alexis McAllister and Caicedo to leave. Brighton won't lose sleep. They've already got players like Enciso coming through the ranks who look like another brilliant footballer. So if you're Arsenal, if you're Brighton, the deal makes sense. Give the money. Brighton rejected 70 million. They might take it. It looks like it's going to take a little bit more than 70 million this summer. If so, pay the money, man, and let's get Caicedo in for me, bro. He's going to be a big time signing for Arsenal. I'd love to see him in alongside Declan Rice. Also, if you're new around here, check out my video earlier today where I talked about João Cancelo to Arsenal as another potential option and gave my thoughts on it. I said that I like Cancelo as a player. However, I'd like to see us prioritise the CDMs and send him in position. I'd like to see us get 2 midfielders in before we even think about other positions on the football pitch. That's just my thought process on it. Especially with Xhaka looking set to leave the club as well. That's another position we need to fill in, that box-to-box midfield role. And I will have a video coming up on a very special player I expect Arsenal to hopefully sign to fill in that void. But for now, with the Caicedo signing, I really like this potential signing for Arsenal. For me, it will be one of my favourite signings of the window. Genuinely, if we pull this over the line. It's going to take a lot. Brighton are not an easy club to negotiate with. They want to make sure they're paid a fair price, as any club would want to. But it looks like a deal can materialise. Genuinely, from the position I'm sitting in right now, when I assess all the cards on the table, everything that I'm aware of, I don't see why a deal can't happen. The player wants to leave. Brighton have allowed the player to potentially leave. Obviously, Arsenal look like they want to get a CDM. They showed interest in Caicedo. Out of all the clubs looking at Caicedo, Arsenal look like the best option for Caicedo. Why can't a deal happen? So I look at it from this position, I think, you know what? Caicedo to Arsenal is looking likely. You just need to make sure Arsenal pay the money and get it early. Because we've proven in the past that when we wait around, when we faff about with signings, other clubs swoop in. Chelsea with Mudryk, for example, etc. Obviously, Man United with Lisandro Martinez. So we have to make sure we move quickly. Just like with Declan Rice as well. Moises Caicedo, move quickly and move assured as well, like a big club. Get these signings in early and give them a preseason under their belt. And if we do that, we're going to make massive steps forward as Arsenal look to compete in both the Premier League and Champions League. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to this potential signing for Arsenal. Caicedo, as always, as the story progresses, I will be covering it on this channel throughout. All sorts of Arsenal related transfer news. So if you enjoy that type of content, make sure you subscribe down below. Let me know in the comment section your thoughts on Caicedo to Arsenal. Do you think it will happen? Do you want it to happen? Who are the other Arsenal transfer targets you'd like to see Arsenal bring in? Whether it's Declan Rice, whether it's João Cancelo or someone else, I'd love to hear it down in the comment section. And if you're new around here, make sure you subscribe on my road to 2,000 subscribers. I've been Wifey and hope to see you all in my next one. Take care.